Thanks for staying with us. Now, Big Brother is a reality show in which contestants live in an isolated house and compete for a large cash prize worth millions at the end of the show by avoiding being evicted by viewers. So, former Big Brother Naija Pepper Dem Gang housemate Olusola had hinted that he's going through depression, and though he's trying to keep his cool, he's slowly reaching breaking point. Now, the reality TV star took to his Instagram page to share a picture that depicts droplets of tears on a piece of paper. In the caption, the model stated that he's facing so much pressure, adding that he's lonely in a world surrounded by people. So I'll read out his write-up. His quote, it says, "They say in your youth, depression is mostly peer pressure and the strive to not want to be left behind. In old age, depression is a bucket full of regrets. It is worse than the former." So our question tonight is, what's the impact of sudden fame and how can we handle the pressures that come with it? Now let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. I'm going to bring in Dr. Shola in a minute or two. I just wanted to hear your thoughts because, so I think I also am a victim of sudden fame. Do you understand? All of a sudden, I was just a regular businesswoman, housewife, and bam, voila, I was in front of a camera being watched by millions of people. And, I think that pressure, it came with its own demons. Challenges. It came with its own demons. But, whenever I look at this Big Brother Naija, which is the case and study in the conversation, it's actually crazy because you can literally have someone that has maybe 10,000 followers on Instagram going to the house
to 1 million
and coming out verified overnight. And 1 million followers growing, right? So, and again, because Norma, there are like maybe 10, 15 people in the same space, silently, you are already in competition
with one another
to make sure that you are not the one that is left behind. Every other person is progressing. This person has just been signed into a contract, for a deal, signed up to be brand ambassador, signed up to be this. What's happening to me? When I look at that thing, I just, when I saw this post by the former Big Brother housemate, I said, how prepared are these people for this subject of sudden fame? Because it seems like a lot of times people just do not understand the gravity of what they're going into or what they're signing into. But let me hear your thoughts,
It's interesting because I quite agree with you that a lot of people are not prepared for what they think that they are prepared, but they're actually not as prepared as when it hits them that they made it, so to speak. So sometimes this can rock their world. Everybody says, I want to be big. But when you're really big, do you have what it takes to withstand the pressures at that level? A lot of people suddenly find themselves in that kind. Sometimes, a case study is this is Big Brother Africa. But we have other shows. I mean, the lottery. You have people winning the lottery. Somebody suddenly become like a star actor or a child actor. Or suddenly your career just booms. And at that stage, for a child, they're not even mentally and emotionally.
Michael Jackson suffered that.
Exactly. So you have people being shot up to fame, so to speak, and this has become they are used to being in a predictable situation. This is what they're used to. They can tell you what they can do in the course of the day, and then suddenly this unpredicted event takes place, and a lot of people find themselves now. For some people who are balanced, right, who come from a supportive environment, they have friends and family, it might be easier for them to handle because you still have people who can advise you and remind you of your values and things like that. But those who do not have supportive environment can find themselves suddenly surrounded by I don't want to call them sycophants, but you know how it is with show business. You suddenly find people who are ready to milk you. You're now the new cash cow. They are, surrounding you with all kinds of suggestions and isolate you in such a way that you don't even have access to people that might pull you back. And then you're living in this bubble, so to speak, and the pressure continues to mount. Now that becomes a problem, because a lot of them are not mentally or psychologically prepared for what is coming. And then sometimes in dealing with it, now imagine if these people are already unstable in their lives, it will blow up the situation even more. So some of them will have to depend on probably like drugs or alcohol, just things that continue to sustain them. And then abuse comes in. And with lack of management, you see that all that fizzles away in a very quick time. And all of those people surrounding them at that time suddenly disappear, and they find themselves in that place where they begin to experience emotional downturn, some as far as depression and even suicide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well captured. Let me bring in our guest. Dr. Olusola Olowookere is a consultant psychiatrist with a keen interest in mental and emotional well-being. He qualified as a medical doctor over 15 years ago and then completed his postgraduate degree in public health from Northumbria University. He also holds a postgraduate degree in psychiatric practice from Hertfordshire University. Dr. Olowookere is a trained psychoanalyst and has also conducted significant research in neuroscience and its relationship with depression and substance abuse. And I think he's a perfect guest to be having this conversation with. Thank you so much, Doctor. Dr.
Hi,
Shola.
good evening. Thank you for having me. Good evening.
All right, so you heard our conversation on this topic, because it was important that we do not just, talk about this. So this is someone, in my opinion, this is like reaching out to say, you know what, I am going through this. It's an expression of, he's clearly said it about, he mentioned depression and all of that, While Unoma was talking, she mentioned two things. She said environment and she said balance, right? That if you have a balance, you have a grounded background, it's easier for you to, to manage some of these things when it comes to sudden fame. But my question to you, or my first question to you tonight is there, are people truly prepared for sudden fame? Is there such a thing that, if there's a balance, it would actually, cushion you for sudden fame?
Right. Thank you very much. A very, very interesting conversation. I didn't really follow the big brother, but shout out to this gentleman who has reached out for help, and I hope he gets the help he requires. A lot of people are suffering in silence, and this makes this conversation a lot more important that we're having it now. So I think fame, it takes away your privacy. You come from someone that you've been living your life in your flat or house or whatever, and then suddenly you're on national TV. I'm not sure there is any amount of preparation that could prepare people for that kind of fame, because it's now you're living your life in the limelight. But however, some degree of baseline emotional resilience, good structure, good supportive network can put you in a good place to be able to cope and adapt properly. But the question now is, are people well prepared? The organizers of this show, what measures are they putting in place to make sure that people are psychologically evaluated before getting on the show? To check their baseline, that are they even able to cope with these challenges? They're going to go into that house for so number of days to live with people they don't know from everywhere, anywhere. They're going to be on live TV. People are going to judge them on Instagram and Twitter. People will make comments, and there's this part of self-expectation. I'm going into this because I want to win. I'm going into this because I want to win the cash, because I want to get the followers. That is a lot of pressure on them. then the followers again are then putting a lot of pressure on them to say, no, you shouldn't have danced with that person. You shouldn't be seen kissing that person. You shouldn't be doing this. So it's a double whammy. The self pressure that they're putting on themselves, and the pressure from the community. So I'm not sure that the adequate support is being put in that process. And I might be wrong, but as I said, I don't follow it. But it's a very, very difficult thing, and I think it's a conversation that we need to have. Is there a baseline evaluation to check how they are emotionally before subjecting them to that kind of rigorous process
Dr.
over the days?
Dr. Shola, even if there's no baseline to evaluate them before they go into the house, because before they go into the house, everybody's just desperate to be famous, right? But when they come out of that house, given that they're already been exposed, I like what you said. Taking your privacy is already taken away from you. You do not have a life of your own anymore. Life as you know it has completely changed, and everybody will be looking at you and benchmarking you with another person's success, right? Knowing fully well that we are all in different journeys in this world. But you see, it seems like, why are you now the one that is not getting the endorsement? Why are you not getting this, right? So even if they did not do the evaluation before they went into the house, shouldn't there be a measure when they come out of that house to actually take them through therapy and prepare them for the fame that they have just acquired? Wouldn't that have helped?
But that's not the objective of the show. The show is purely to bring entertainment to its viewers
at the detriment of somebody else's life.
They expect you to take ownership of your life.
Wow.
But I think you raised a very important question to say, what is the provision for afterlife after the show? In the UK, you've heard stories about Love Island and contestants unfortunately taking their lives years, months or so after the show. This is no joke. And hey, correct me, I might be wrong because I don't follow all these things, but I would want to assume that at least for a year to 2 years after the show, there should be some form of robust support for their emotional and mental well. The fame is just crazy. I'm sure they can't walk on the street. The normal roadside booker that they will be able to go, they might not be able to go there again. The normal walk that they can just walk down the road to go and buy something. They won't be able to do that again. It's a different, and they'll get endorsements, there'll be expectation, there'll be commercial obligations, there'll be a lot of things. Their whole life would change. So I think the least they deserve is for them to be a robust provision for emotional and psychological support after the show.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I quite agree with him. So if I were to ask, before that emotional and psychological preparation is done or put in place by some of these people who provide opportunities for fame and all of that, what are things that celebrities or people who are suddenly shot to the limelight, what are certain things that they can begin to put in place for themselves to empower themselves should things turn in such a way that they didn't expect? Because these are unpredictable events that happen. Yes, they hope to get there, but they suddenly find themselves getting there. What are things that they can begin to quickly put in place to prepare them for sudden change of success in their favor, sudden change to the spotlight or to the limelight, and keep themselves grounded or balanced? What are the things that they can quickly put in place? Shola?
Yeah, a very good support network is very, very important. Basic, that should be the foundation that would help you remaining grounded and don't get carried away. Sometimes some of them require what you call a life coach or someone to just guide them right and just support them in basic way. In my own experience, I normally refer to the 3 F's: family, faith, and friends. Those things will always help you if you've got good family around you. If you've got good friends, not friends that are just coming when you're in the limelight, friends that have known you from basic, at least they will be able to draw you back to the baseline to say, guy or babe, you're deviating. This is not you. People that have known you. And then faith, at least that would be give you some bit of guidance and a bit of accountability. Most importantly, surrounding yourself with good people of good moral values and purpose would be very, 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 very important. But the question is, you've said it, sudden fame. Do they have that time to start putting down? Things happen very fast. Right. At least from my little Instagram follow, you see, the fans are already taking presents from day 2. From day 3, they're already in radio stations. From day 4, life goes very, 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 very fast. So I don't want to subscribe to this suddenness of this thing. This should have been pre-planned. There is no way you're going to go to that house that you won't have some bit of fame afterwards. Mm-hmm. Be it you being evicted after a week or 2, the old world or the old whatever country will have watched you for a week or 2. So you're already famous. So the plan should have been from the beginning. It should have been as they are going in, while they are in, and for at least 18 months when they come out.
If I may ask, Shola, how does fame impact self-perception? How the individual perceives themselves? How does fame impact that?
Okay, let's ask your friend in the studio. Before you got to this job, was your glasses like this? Was this the type of things you were wearing? Levels would change. I'm telling you.
Norma is putting me under prayer. Norma is putting me under prayer.
You know what? You even Norma, look at your picture 5 years ago. You get things. Your choice of friendship will change. Your taste for life will change. You won't go to the place you are going before. Levels, all those things subconsciously will start impacting on your friendship, your emotions, and things like that. And with all these things, a lot of little bad habits and exposure to bad things will come. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to, what is your baseline? Where were you before? What was your values? What was your emotional resilience like? You understand? So that are you able to cope with these sudden changes? Because there won't be any warning. It will just happen, bam, 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 bam. Justin Bieber is a good example. That young guy, he's gone through a very huge roller coaster and things like that. And his faith is one of the things that is really helping him nowadays. So the 3 Fs, the family that have always known you, they will unlikely let you down, your friends and your faith.
You know what? We're going to take a break. I like the question you posed. So that means it's actually okay for you to derail a bit when sudden fame happens. What then is a problem is probably you derailing and just going completely off track and not finding your way back. Because if I hear you correctly, the family, the faith, and the friend is supposed to be the one to be like a check, like keep support. On checking you, keep on bringing you back in line, right? I hear that part. So let me probably just take a very short break. When we return from the break, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat with Dr. Shola on the impact of sudden fame. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right, so Dr. Shola, it's so interesting, this conversation, and I love the direction that we're going, because maybe these organizers of some of these reality TV shows, they need to start putting this. Maybe, and you guys are what do you call yourself? The EAPs. You are the mental health custodians. I'm sure if you begin this fight and you push for it, they would listen and they will start to pay attention. A simple therapy for 1 year. You've made so much money. Millions, billions of naira is being made from voting alone. We do not even know about the other endorsements and all of that. That's the company themselves. So it will not cost you anything, right? To put these people in a position where they are mentally prepared for the fame that they have just acquired. So it will be nice to see the advocates of mental health push for this. I'm giving it to you guys. You guys need to push for it and say, you know what, after they are done with this, XYZ has to happen, because we do not need another suicide. We do not need somebody else, going through this depression. I mean, just today, I saw a post that Tiwa Savage, I don't know if they will be able to find it because we're having trouble with our technical issues today. But I saw a post Tiwa Savage had posted, and, underneath that post, somebody wrote, "Oh my God, this is a cry for help. She needs help." She was saying something about her father's death, that if she's gone, nobody's going to miss her. So those are silent hints that amidst all this fame, so even outside of the reality TV show, Big Brother aside, the pressure of just being in the eye of the public, it's a lot. The reason I'm not under prayer is because I have chosen not to be under prayer. It's true, because I have also accepted
that have helped.
Yes, I have a fantastic support structure. Then I've also chosen to pick what is important to me. So now this is where I'm going to. Financial pressure. Do you see financial pressure playing a huge role in some of these pressures that come with instant fame? Because even if I am famous and it is okay for me to admit, I'm just famous, Neo, I don't have money. Do you understand? Maybe that pressure would be a bit reduced. But sometimes, because you want to keep up to a lifestyle that you cannot afford, right? That, I think, further expands your pressure. It just puts you in a bubble that you can't come out of it. You hear cases of them going to borrow or begging for this and all of that. It doesn't make any sense. So where does the financial pressure, what role does it play in this overall, pressure to instant fame? Very long question.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure we can separate the perception about fame and finances. I think the typical average Nigerian will automatically think that because I'm famous, I should have some money. So that then puts additional pressure on the individual in question here. So I'm sure everybody that has passed through that house, by the time they are back on their streets, they will be looking at them and see, wow, this guy have a few millions more, or is richer. So that's additional pressure being put on this individual. Again, what you did talk about the post show plans is, for example, I think when you look at emotional and mental well-being as a whole, the aftercare is so important. The support you put in place after is so important. And why is it important? For them to have this space to be able to talk to someone that is independent, someone that would not judge them, someone that would not see them as that famous person, somewhere they could go or someone they could speak to, and they will be able to pour out their mind and be normal and not be that perceived star. So this is very, very, very important. And it is high time that we know that anxiety, depression, personality issues, these are things that do accompany fame at times. It is lonely in that famous world at times.
In fact, picking up from that point where you mentioned the role of family and friends, from what you have discussed or we've discussed, it cannot be overemphasized. How do we encourage family and friends to, in spite of maybe disappointments that they've been let down or that they've been pushed aside and all, how do we encourage support system to continue to be in place in spite of the fact that they've been pushed aside?
At the end of the day, it's both sides, both individuals. The person that is famous and the family and friends, they both have a role to play. So we just need to try. That is all we can do. At the end of the day, if I'm having a problem, I might be the last person to realize it is you that you're my friend that might point out that, Shola, your behavior is different now. You used to drink just one bottle, now you are drinking 4. You used to get back home at 10, now you are at home at 2. So you need to surround yourself with those people. And we as friends and family as well, we have a role to play to know that we need to guide them. This is a new life or new experience that they've not been prepared for. They've never seen this before. So they are getting used to it as they go along. They need us as much as we need them. So if you have a friend, a family member who has suddenly gotten into the limelight, please do not neglect them. Be checking on them and be making sure that they're all right. It is very, very, very important. You might just be that person that will be able to keep them on the straight and narrow, despite all the fame around them.
Okay, so I want to ask about the environment, right? What role does the environment play in some of these things? Because, I remember when I just started my sojourn into the world of the media space, and, I realized that people that I used to see on TV, some of them don't have cars, they are jumping buses or entering keke and all of that. In other climes, like for instance in the UK, you can see your prime minister on a train and nothing will happen. Everybody will just move on like it's normal. But you see, there's an environment that Nigeria paints, the environmental factor where our culture is, we do not respect people probably because if you're not flamboyant, you're not showing off your cars and all of that. So do you think, again, this pressure for fame, the environment plays a huge role, especially within Africa, Nigeria?
Yes, and I did touch on this earlier to say fame is, we always equate it to big pockets and big finances. So the fact that, in fact, even if you look at it and not disrespect to our Hollywood and Nollywood stars, you see all them, they act all those big roles, and then you automatically expect that when you see them in real life, they will be like that, which is not usually the case. Because they are famous, we have already attached the fact that they must be very, very rich. And then that puts a lot of pressure on them personally as an individual, unless the individual is well-grounded. So the societal expectation, is it a cultural thing? I think we need to start changing the narrative and the whole idea that the fact that people are on TV and that does not automatically mean that they are rich. And that perception sometimes do isolate them. It does isolate them because people already think, they are high up there, we can't really talk to them. But no, it's not like that. Over the last few days, I was watching, I think it was just today, I was watching Baskemal. He said he wanted to go into Computer Village and that he has missed walking on the street by himself and seeing his friends and things like that. So he walked into Computer Village, he wore his cap and face, and people didn't really recognize him. But I think someone that went to the same university, like his guy from way back, then saw him and he was really excited that, wow, this is not a fan, this is a friend. You understand what I'm saying? And that is it. Most people that you see as stars, a lot of fans follow them. They probably don't have a lot of friends.
That's quite interesting because, again, and that's what I think is the missing factor. We get popular, we get famous, and we forget that the people that are following us are just following us for what is perceived that we have accomplished. So we are not able to, and that job nobody can help you. You, as the person, you must be able to decide to say, you know what, I have friends and I have followers. At some point,
there's a difference.
At some point, I think celebrities blur the lines, or famous people blur the lines of friends and followers. So you begin to almost think that
followers are friends.
Yes,
and family.
Everybody there is to validate you, to do. Do you understand? So I mean, the people that matter the most are just a tiny bunch, So, but I think we, as people in the eye of the public, we begin to blur that line. So everything we're doing, we want to please the people that do not even care about you. All they want to see is that, Unoma is in Hilton, Unoma is doing this, without caring if Unoma is fine or she's even maybe taking a loan to do all of these things, Because tomorrow, if anything happens to your brand, that they say immediately they cut you off. The same people will cut you off. So imagine us helping ourselves and, trying to define that line, not make it blurred anymore. It will help, it will go a long way in, resuscitating maybe our mental health,
So I'd like to ask Shola, what other ways can we begin to change the narrative about managing sudden fame?
I think a lot of education and a lot of awareness is very, very important. keeping people grounded and encouraging them to keep to their values. And hopefully these values will be good values. Developing a lot of emotional resilience to make people know that they need to start prioritizing their emotional and mental well-being. Because if you prioritize that, you won't let any tweet or it's very difficult to keep away from social media and still keep your head. But you need to build that resilience to say, social media or whatever, it's not going to affect my mental state. If I need to take some time to
off.
keep my head to as a star or whatever, then that's what you do. So it's around keeping grounded, being emotionally resilient. Most importantly, we need to be kind to each other, very, very kind to each other. Don't be mindful of the word choices you use in talking to people. You know, sometimes I go through Instagram and you see what people are saying to other human beings. You know, it's so very mindful, and the change starts from me and you.
Absolutely.
It's interesting how Shola mentions being kind to people and considerate, because really that's what humanity is all about. But I think more and more every single day we lose our sense of humanity. Sometimes when you come across some of the comments that people make on social media, you can see hurt and pain being unleashed on
but that's to tell you
individuals
that we are all
total strangers.
So we have
you.
a huge number of people that are walking depressed people. No, let's say depressed, embittered people. A lot of embittered people all over the place. And the social media space, right, is just a reflection of the state at which people are. You know, some people, you hardly find them comment if they don't, you know, if they can't find anything bad to say, they rather not say anything. So because most of their comments are hateful, you know, and all of that. But you see, the thing I would say to, you know, because we're wrapping up, I don't know if we have Shola back now. We're wrapping up, you know, is yes, you can be famous, but you have to also set the boundaries, right? Nobody should push you to become who you are not. Nobody should push you to put you under the pressure that you are not prepared for. So the point is, yes, I've gone into this house. And I think, again, maybe defining the goals. You know, some people go into, I mean, I heard someone last week that was telling me, I just want to be on TV because of my work. If I have that visibility, because of what I do, if I have that visibility, it will help promote people. More people would want to engage my services. So maybe
it's focus driven.
Yes, it's focus driven. So maybe again, some of these people need to start to define why they're in front of a television, or why they're, you know, because if you do not define it, you know, you find yourself, you know, running around in circles, and you'll be put under so much pressure to want to just be everything. And you cannot be.
But there was some time, I think that can come from somebody who has come to that point where there's sort of balance. So somehow their objectives and their goals are channeled constructively. But what of the majority of the people, and I want to probably
I think
push
Shola
this
is back,
to Shola, what of the majority of the people who are just living on survival, right? And just trying to make ends meet, and then suddenly they hit fame. How do you begin to benchmark that for them? It's easier for you. In fact, we still have people who come from balanced homes or situation support system, still, you know, have a rocky situation going on, but they're able to come back on track. But what are the majority of the people who are just struggling to survive, and then suddenly they hit that mark? What are the things that you can advise that someone who just finds themselves in that situation, from survival and suddenly to fame, what can they quickly do if they do not have a support system in place?
You need to identify someone that you trust, that you will always be accountable to, because accountability is a very, very key aspect of maintaining that pressure and being able to cope with the pressure. So getting someone to could it be a coach, could it be a therapist, could it be or a mentor? Yes, that can always guide you or support you. It's very, very important. But one thing is that a lot of people lack insights at that point. When they get that fame, they probably get carried away and they are engulfed with the whole process, and they don't have a minute to even think and check back. But we're hoping that hopefully this individual or whoever gets into this camp will be able to take a minute and reflect. Reflection is always a great thing. If they're able to take a minute and reflect, then they'll be able to put measures in place to be able to make sure that at least there's someone they're accountable to, and create a support system around them.
Absolutely. Shola, I was just going to ask you, have you watched Squid Game?
I started last week, but I've only watched one episode.
So the thing did not capture you like it captured me. I made sure I finished all the episodes.
I'm yet
the interesting thing about Squid Game, you see this instant money, it's the way it comes instantly, it can also disappear instantly. And again, because of if you watch that film, there's a bit of pressure to want to live a certain life, a bit of pressure to want to meet up certain standards. There's some people are pressured because they have bank loans and so many things, and all of that. So it was easy for them to put themselves in that state. So imagine if we as humans, you are perpetually put in that state where, you can do anything. So I wouldn't say to people, because some people will be blaming some people. Why I'm bringing that up is that they'll be blaming, why did they go into the house in the first place? You don't have to go into the Big Brother house in the first place. But you do not know the pressure that they're coming with, and why they desperately want to go into that house. Because again, there's a picture that the Big Brother company has presented to all of them, that once you go there, your life will be transformed and everything, will just be okay. But some go, even some that have won the cash prize, realize that it's not all that deep. It's not as juicy as it's been painted. So for people to continuously go into that house, it means that there's something, there. So I was just going to say that, let's just be conscious. But Shola, if you had one final thing to say to anyone, I would like for you to speak to these organizers. So Biko, I want you to tell me that you want to write them a letter.
Spoken in mother tongue.
Yeah, I think to the organizers of the show, interesting show that keeps a lot of people engaged, but most importantly, we need to pay a lot of attention to the participants. I think there has to be a robust plan. And as I said earlier, I don't follow this. If you guys are doing it already, you need to probably improve on it a bit more. I'm happy to support you. Preparing them before getting there, when they are there, and the post-show plan has to be robust, at least 18 to 24 months after. And special shout out to this guy who has reached out, Olusola, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help him. If you guys can link me up to him, I'm happy to just sort him out free of charge, no charges, just to show that help is really available there. And these are basic stuff that the organizers of this show should have put in place. It's so disheartening if this was not put in place for them. But shout out to this guy. Let's get him some help.
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect thing. We have to find help for the young man. He has reached out. He has written it. It's important that we find that help.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did, and hopefully
because sometimes you feel
just suddenly
and you don't want to speak up and all of that. Absolutely. And somebody else will not say, now because we need to say a win. If I know they talk like this, because they feel
there's pressure winning. There's also pressure not winning.
And for those that did not win, they are even under a lot more pressure
to continue to succeed in life.
To succeed. For those that won, they have a different kind of pressure. Everybody has their own pressure. Everybody has their own pressure. I remember when one of them just celebrated her birthday, Mercy Ike, and somebody lashed out on her that, yes, I understand that you took naked pictures to get to where you are, but the way you have grown, at least you've won the money and everything, shouldn't there be a different, way of expressing yourself? Must you keep doing the naked pictures and all of that? Because she has to keep up with the appearances,
Absolutely.
So it's actually a deep pressure for them. It's just that they might not know how to express it. But, we'll find, hopefully, thank you so much, Shola, for offering help. We'll try to reach out and see if, they'll be willing, because it's another thing for you to offer help. It's another thing for the person to accept.
To receive help.
The help, you understand? So hopefully we'll try to connect to see if we can reach Olusola. And well done for reaching out too. Thank you so much, Shola, Dr. Shola, for your time with us. We hope we'll do this again. Thank you, Norma
All right.
Efana. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at WayShowAfrica. You can drop your comment, interact with us further, and more importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand. So do well to follow us now. It's at WayShowAfrica. You can like, share, invite your family and friends to follow, and join the conversation. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. I can't imagine wanting to be famous just for the sake of being famous. I think fame should come along with success, talent. This is from Kat Dennings. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.